If you don't know where you're going, everywhere will look like it. Until you place a demand from God, this is what I want. If you don't have vision, God does not have anything to work with. You pursue the vision. It is vision that defines what you want God to do for you. Jesus came with a vision. For God to give Jesus speed and be there for him. Jesus knew what he wanted. This morning I'm speaking on the subject, the cause. The cause is illegal. The cause is what? The cause is illegal. If you don't understand the mystery of the illegality of a cause, you cannot enjoy the blessings and the favors of heaven. If you don't understand the illegality of the cause, you cannot enjoy the blessings of God. Galatians chapter 3. Galatians chapter 3 from verse 11 to 14. Galatians chapter 3, 11 to 14. He says, but that no man is justified in the sight of God. It is evident, for the just shall live by faith. I'll come back to that. For the just shall live by faith, and the law is not of faith. The law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. Which, if you believe in the law, you have to follow the rules of the law. Verse 13. Say, Christ has redeemed us from the laws of the cause of the law, being made a cause for us. Base. Being made a cause for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree, that the blessings of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Jesus Christ, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. That we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. What is the cause? C-U-R-S-E, cause, curse. Some of you will say the curse. The British will say the curse. Americans will say the curse. Nigerians will say the cause. What is the cause? I want you to put this on, please, those of you by the table there. The cause is an illegal bond. The cause is an illegal bond or embargo placed on someone, a thing, a place by the devil. The cause is an illegal bond or embargo placed on a thing, a person, a place by the enemy. I want to teach you a little bit before I begin to preach. The cause is illegal. The cause gained his power or gained its power through the law of Moses. Because Moses came by law. Therefore, everyone was required to obey the law. That if you did not obey the law, the consequences of the curse that came for not obeying the law will fall on you. So the law came by Moses. Thou shalt not do this, this shall not do that, thou shalt not do that. The blessings of Abraham was dependent on obeying the law. Am I talking to somebody? Now the law became, instead of becoming a blessing, the law became a curse. Because it was impossible for people to keep the law. And one of the law, the rules of the law says, anyone that is crucified, anyone they hang on the cross, is cursed forever. Every other thing they can forgive you. Every other thing can go free. But when you are being found guilty by law and hung on a cross, your case is finished. Everything about you is cursed. Am I talking to somebody? I need to build up this. Now, most times, the demonic powers, sangomas, evil spirits derive the curse from the law. Follow me? They derive the curse from the law. If this happens, this will happen. If that happens, this will happen. So the native doctors or yangas or family members or wicked people will always go back to the law and pull out a curse. Am I talking to somebody? If you go to Deuteronomy chapter 29, you find the curses. The curses of sickness, the curses of blindness, the curses of lameness. So every time they want to apply a curse, they will go back to the curse of Genesis Deuteronomy chapter 29, and curse, it shall not be good with you, you shall be barren, you shall die. So they now, please follow me, they now hold on to the curse of Deuteronomy chapter 28. There is no living Inyanga or Sangoma that will curse you that will not connect to Deuteronomy 29. Sila. Are you following what I'm saying? So every curse, if any younger say you shall not prosper, it will go back to Deuteronomy 29. If somebody calls you shall not have children, you shall be barren, Deuteronomy 29. You shall not prosper, Deuteronomy 29. So they derive their power from the law. Am I following? Somebody follow me. They derive their power from the law. That every time they needed to cause havoc, they will go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and invoke a curse. Listen to this. This will shock you. The curse is illegal. Thank you. No curse takes effect. No curse. No curse takes effect except it is pronounced. Did you hear what I said? There is no curse on earth that will have power over you except it is pronounced. There is no native doctor that will be effective if he is dumb. If it's what? Dumb native doctor. You can never see one. Any dumb native doctor is cursed. He can't perform. Because the curse is always released by the word of mouth. Please hear me. I say it again. The cause is always released. If you go to an Inyanga, you tell him to mix something for you. He will mix and mix and mix. Finally, he will say what? The ancestors hear me. Ndade, Papa, grandfather, hear me. Is that not what they do? Until they vocalize the cause. The cause does not have effect. Hey, I'm getting excited. The cause does not have effect. Fast forward. Galatians chapter 3 verse 4. Verse 3. Galatians chapter 3 verse where did we read? Galatians what? 3 verse 13. Verse 13. Go back to the 13. Galatians 3:13. Okay, no, go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Go back to 12. But no man is justified in the sight of God. It is evident. For the just shall no longer live by the law of the curse. Verse 12. The law is not of faith. The law does not need faith because it is written. It is a law. There is no faith involved. It will judge you. It will condemn you. It will put you down. Like they will tell that my daughter, you are a mistake. The person that said you are a mistake went back to Deuteronomy and said, no man should sleep with his sister. They went back to Deuteronomy, and Moses told them, any man that sleeps with his sister is cursed. So they are cursing the lady by Deuteronomy. I'm going somewhere. Somebody follow me this morning. It's illegal. I say it's illegal. Okay, go to verse 13. Verse 13. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. Follow me. Being made a curse. I told you that the original curse is when somebody goes to the cross. When he goes to the cross, he becomes cursed. So he says, okay, for me to break that law, I need to be the curse. It is no longer Deuteronomy that is the problem. I am going to carry the curse of Deuteronomy. Am I following you? Are you following me? Yes, I will carry the curse of Deuteronomy on my head. Curse is any man that hangeth on the tree. He says, I am now hanging on the tree because I have carried the curse. Anyone that goes back to Deuteronomy is illegal.
Yes.
I don't know, I'm missing people here. We are talking about something great here. He says anybody that goes back to Deuteronomy to place a curse, that curse is illegal because I carry the curse. The curse is upon me. My daughter does not need to walk in the curse. My son does not need to walk in the curse. My daughter does not need to walk in the curse. I carry the curse. He says, go back there. The Bible did not say, he said he became. God redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse. For it is written, curse is everyone that they hang on the tree. Verse 14. Every time you wanted to enjoy the blessings of God, they say no. There's a curse on you. The blessing came from Abraham. The curse came with Moses. He said, but Christ came to redeem us. Redeem means he came to pay. He came to pay for the cost. That anytime the blessing needs to come, the blessing does not need to consider Moses anymore. Hey, am I in the church or what? Are we in kindergarten or what? He said when the blessing wants to come, when the favor wants to come, we don't need to consider Moses anymore. Let us forget the curse, because anyone that mentions curse, Jesus has taken the curse. Anytime somebody curses in your village, Jesus has taken the curse. Anytime somebody curses in your dream, Jesus has taken the curse. Anytime somebody says you're not going to prosper, Jesus has taken the curse. He paid the price for the curse so that the blessing of Abraham, Tony, that the blessing of Abraham might now come on the Gentiles. Do you know why he said so? Because the Bible says that the blessing of Abraham cannot be shared with the Gentiles. So the Gentiles are permanently cursed. He said the coming of Jesus did not only release the Israelites, he released the Gentiles too. Who is that man that is cursing you? Who is that woman that is cursing you? Who is that neighbor that is cursing you? Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost. Somebody shout, it's illegal. The curse is illegal. The sickness is illegal. I can't hear you. The poverty is illegal. The suffering is illegal. The rising and falling is illegal. The barrenness is illegal. The blindness is illegal. Somebody shout, it's illegal. The cause is illegal. I hope somebody will be free now. I believe your generation will be free now. I believe your finances will be free now. I believe your health is getting free now. Then he said this. He said that the blessing might come. I'm about to close. That the blessing might come on the Gentiles. Then go down, he says this, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through what? Verse 11 says, for the just shall live by faith, not by the law. Because Jesus, how does the just live by faith? Because we are not moved by sight, we are moved by faith. You don't hear what I'm saying? We are not moved by sight, we are moved by faith. For without faith it's impossible. If you go back to the law and say they cursed me, they said this against me, they said this against my family, they said this against my business, you are still holding on to the curse. But the just can say, shall say, I am blessed because he died for me. I'm coming out because he died for me. Am I talking to somebody here? Somebody shout, I'm coming out. He said, if you are the just, You cannot live by law. You live by the things you've not seen. No, you didn't hear that. You live by the things you have not seen. Because faith is the evidence of the things hoped for. You are not looking back and saying, I don't know who is chasing me. I don't know, they want to kill me. Somebody attacked me in my dream. Law. You are being held captive. You've been made a slave by the law. But the one that believes by faith, the Bible says he calls those things that are not as though they were. You see with an eye that is not physical. You believe by faith. You confess by faith. You receive by faith. You progress by faith. You buy a house by faith. You buy a car by faith. You marry a husband by faith. You buy a new house by faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. God, he has paid the price. He has died for our sin. He has taken the cost away from us. The just shall live by faith. By faith.
By faith. Preach, black man.
We take territories. We take territories by faith. Through faith. They say to you by law, nobody can do this. There is a shrine, there is a this, there is a this disturbing you. There is a shrine disturbing you. There is an ancestor disturbing you. You say, that's the law. When you go read it, Deuteronomy 29. Read 28 and 29. That's the law. No, I cannot be ruled by law. I am healed. How do you know you are healed? I know that I am healed. Give me evidence that you're, I just know. You are crazy. I know I'm crazy, but I just know. Because without my knowing, I cannot please God. Without my knowing that my life will change, I cannot please God. Without me believing God for my blessing, I cannot please God. That the blessing of Abraham shall come upon the Gentiles. The only way the blessing of Abraham comes upon the Gentiles is by faith. We take territories by faith. You start major companies by faith, not by cause. People will come around and say, this is not possible. There are jujus and native doctors everywhere. You tell them it's the law. It's the law. For Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. Is somebody about to take over territories here? Is somebody about to move to a place that nobody can understand here? For the just shall live by faith. We are not moved by sight. Sight does not bother me. Sound does not bother me. I am moved by faith. I see things that nobody sees. I walk into places nobody's thinking about. Am I talking to somebody here? Somebody shout, I'm here. I'm here. For Christ has redeemed us. He has paid. He became a curse. Am I talking to somebody?
Yes, sir.
For my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You cannot deceive a man that knows. Yeah. Turn to me, turn. Is that a man or a woman?
It's a woman.
How do you know?
She's got all the features of a woman.
Have you seen it? You know.
Yes.
The features, you don't need to see it. The features are inside you. They are in everywhere. When you say woman, you turn like this, you say man. You don't need to look at the particles or the signs to see. Inside of you, you already know she's a woman. Am I talking to somebody? Nobody needs to convince you. Nobody needs to tell you anything different. You just know. The just shall live by knowing. The just shall live by knowing. I know that I know. I cannot remain like this. My life will change. My circumstance will change. Everything around me will change. How do you know? I just know. Hey! I know. Satan will always reverse you to the cause. He will reverse you to 10 years, 15 years. Who caused you in your village? Who is after you? There is one native doctor in your community. Nobody progresses. It is because you believe the law. Try something different. I saw Mama almost 60 something years with a new car. And you are 20. You have already lost hope that you will drive a car. 20. Mama said, God healed me. You are saying, Mama, what are you looking for healing? Just go now. At your age, what are you looking for healing? Mama said, I asked God to give me breakthrough. At 60 something. You are 24, 25, 26. You are saying, I can't do this anymore. Things are tough for me. Mama said, I came with a prayer request. Car, breakthrough, house. At 60 something, the just shall live by faith. Hey. Am I talking to somebody? Amen. When they ask Mama, what do you have to say? He said, tell them not to give up. 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 Amen. Mama said, tell them not to give up. Tell them to be patient. I was hearing it. Let them be patient. Let them not give up. For the just shall live by faith. Hear me. You cannot walk in God's favor if you don't believe for favor. Every time something good wants to come, he said, me, I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm not worthy to receive anything in South Africa. You don't know the promise. The promise says in the book of Psalms chapter 24, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof and everything within it. You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. Tell me. You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. A woman wanted me to give her bribe in Home Affairs. Sit down. I applied for my paper, my resident permit. They held my paper. Some people were giving bribe. I went to the woman. I said, where's my paper? She said, your paper, we are still expecting it. I said, okay. You're expecting it? She said, yes. I said, from where? He said, from Springs. I said, okay. I left her, entered my car, went to Springs. I said, can I see the manager? The director. They called the director. So what can we do for you, sir? I said, I applied for my paper. I'm very legal. Everything is legal. I've not committed a crime. Neither have I cheated any man. Where's my paper? So what's your name, sir? I said, Pastor Idah Peterside. She said, wait. She checked the computer. She checked and checked and checked. She said, your paper has been released 3 months ago. I said, man, where is it? She says, in Kempton Park. I said, before then, I want to report a woman to you. Her name is so. Let me not call her name. Maybe she's a member of this church now. I said, her name is so and so. She's the one holding my paper. She said it has not been released. She said, wait. She dialed the number. The woman answered. Hey, I don't want to call the name. Let me just call Pinky. I say Pinky. You want me to say Pindile? I said, let me just say okay, Pindile. So there's a man here. He says he has applied, and you said it's not there. I say, what's his name, ma? I said, Peterside. He said, ma, hey, his paper is here. He's here, he's here. The woman said, Pindile, I've been warning you. This nonsense you've been doing, you people are giving this country a bad name. He said, I'm sending Mr. Peterside to you. Some of you will be afraid to go, ne? Not me. I am legal. I have been delivered and redeemed by the blood. I am not under the curse anymore. Am I talking to somebody here? I went to the woman. I came. I said, madam, I've come. He said, you think you're smart, ne? I said, madam, you're wasting my time. Give me my paper all. I will call the woman now. He said, sit down and wait for your turn. I said, how many people before me? They were like 3. I counted 1, 2, 3. I stood there. She did number 1. She did number 2. She did number 3. She said, I'm going for lunch. I said, you will come back. You have the right to go for lunch. You will come back. You will find me here. I was waiting. She went and did like she went for lunch. She couldn't go for lunch. What lunch? She came back. You are smart, ne? I said, madam, you're wasting my time. Our church is in 40 Oleander. If you need a place to worship, I'm the one pastoring there. Hey! This is what the devil is doing to us. He's using men, women, people to frustrate us from receiving what the government has released. You didn't get that? He's using people. Hey, your ancestors said this. Your granny said this. There's a strong woman by your backyard. There's an auntie by the side. Hey, they are illegal. They are what? If you don't understand that the cause is illegal, you will remain where you are. The woman from the Home Affairs was holding my paper illegally. Satan is holding your paper illegally. He's holding your houses illegally. He's holding your health illegally. He's holding your business illegally. He's holding your marriage illegally. Satan, release my blessing. Release my blessing. We're about to pray, and I'll pray for you. I didn't even preach what I was supposed to preach. That devil is a bastard. It's illegal. Sickness is illegal. Sickness is of the law. Disease is illegal. Lunga said, I had a lump, and I told my sister that when I go for that service, I will be healed. All she did was to call that lump illegal. The just shall live by faith. If you go to Hebrews 11, he said, by faith, by faith, by faith, by faith. Let me tell you one more story I and my wife had. A young woman had the husband had an accident. I want to tell you something. Death is illegal. Jesus said, nobody takes my life. No, listen to me. Nobody can manipulate me. Amen? Nobody. This woman, the husband had an accident, and she did not know that the husband was bleeding. So the husband got home. As the husband got home, sit. As the husband got home, the husband started feeling dizzy. They carried the husband to the hospital. When they got to the hospital, they took the man in for an emergency, and he died. So they called the woman and said, your husband is dead. She said, what dead? Say, no, that's not what God told us. So God, I said, the promise, remember we said, the promise, you must know what belongs to you. He said, no, that's not what God told us. God told us that our children will look after us. How are you telling my husband? They said, madam, your husband is dead. Say, can I see him? She went into the place where they had covered the husband. And the woman said, give my husband oxygen. They said, oxygen. He said, listen, the oxygen, will you not put it in my bill? Am I not the one that will pay? Or the company will pay? They say yes. Say, put oxygen. They put oxygen on the man. The woman came to the man and said, sir, let's call his name Mike. Mike, for death has been swallowed up in victory. I don't know where you're going. God said our children will look after us. Where are you going, Mike? She said, our father in the Lord said that we shall live till 120 years. And you are only 50. Where are you going, Mike? Day 1. Day 2. Mike, I'm not going without you. I am not living without you, Mike. She started quoting scriptures. They came to the woman, madam, this fluid, oxygen mask is not working. This oxygen is pumping. Your husband is dead. He said, mind your business. This is my husband. Day 3. Mike, where are you going? The promise said our children will look after us. No sign. Day 4. Flies. The sisters came. The leaders of the church came. And they sent, the doctor sent for the family and say, madam is losing her mind. Take madam away. Is the 4 flies. So she says she took her mantles that they gave her in the church and started chasing flies. Mike, the promise said our children will look after us. By the promise, you're not supposed to be anywhere, Mike. Day 5. She said while she was screaming in day 5, I don't know whether it was the spirit, by the spirit or by the physical. She said she had somebody sneeze. Right? Is this sneezing, my wife? He said, inside, yes. While she was praying, she just had, leave me alone. She turned back and looked at the man. The man was still dead. But she had, leave me alone. She said, who said leave me alone? I'm the only person in this place. Either there is a spirit, there's an angel, or Mike is still here. He said, Mike, you cannot go anywhere. Day 5. Day 6. The doctors, the family, everybody gathered and said, madam, if we don't move, we will now move you by force. This one is becoming abuse of dead body. You are now abusing corpse. You have to go. The woman said, give me 1 more day. Right? This is day 6. So by tomorrow, if Mike, all I need is 1 day. If Mike does not rise, you take Mike. Day 6 in the night, she held Mike. Mike, I don't know where you are, but dead women raised up their dead bodies. He said, old women of old raised up their dead bodies. Mike, time is going. Where are you? The promise said, as she said, the promise said it was 4 o'clock in the morning. Mike got up and said, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? The just shall live by faith. The just shall live by faith. The just shall live by faith. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Mike's 7th day, true story. True story. Everybody in the church knew her story. She came back to the church. People were screaming. She was standing with Mike. 7 days later, you can't believe God for 1 week. You can't believe God for a car. You can't believe God for a house. You can't believe God for a job. I'm telling of a woman that held on for 7 days with a dead body, believing that God that promised is able to do it. I feel God here this morning. Our God, the Bible says he can do exceedingly abundantly above. I waited for a baby for 18 years. 18. The just shall live by faith. God does not have time for people that give up easily. When things are bad, they throw in the towel. They stop serving God. They stop working for God. They stop doing things, you see. Faithless generation. They want to see. They believe sangomas and they believe people more than God. Somebody comes to you and says, no, it's not going to be okay with you. They believe. If you don't know where you're going, everywhere will look like it. Until you place a demand from God, this is what I want. If you don't have vision, God does not have anything to work with. You pursue the vision. It is vision that defines what you want God to do for you. Jesus came with a vision. For God to give Jesus speed and be there for him. Jesus knew what he wanted.